Welcome to G5 Jeff TV. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button as you come on in. Big shout out to the sponsors of the channel. My boy Fast Classic. His mixtape is in the description box. It is absolutely free. Definitely give him a download, give him a listen. And my boy Matt. Definitely check his apparel out on IG at We All From. Now, this is part 2 of the Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker tribute. And this is something that I decided to do when it was announced that he passed away due to a car incident. And with me being a hardcore boxing fan, there's just some guys that'll just forever be legends in the sport. And Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker is one of those guys. Now, this may not be a video that gets millions of hits and things like that, because we live in a microwave type society where we talk about something for a day or two and then it's on to the next thing. But over here on G5 Jeff TV, we talk about things that are relevant no matter if the timing is right or the timing is wrong, or if nobody's talking about the topic. We just operate different over here on G5 Jeff TV, and it doesn't matter what the time is. It's never a bad time to talk about a legend, especially a fallen legend like Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker. If you have not caught part 1 of this, definitely scroll through the channel, through the library, and find part 1 of Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker tribute. That was dedicated to his fight versus Roger Mayweather. That was personally my favorite fight of Sweet Pea Whitaker's. But for part 2, we're just highlighting what this man meant to the sport of boxing by highlighting some of his more notable and famous fights. And this tribute of videos is also kind of a guideline for the new boxing fans. You know, the young boxing fans, the casual boxing fans. With me being a hardcore, I thought there wasn't a person in the world that didn't know who Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker was. But there's people in the UK that don't know who he is. There's new boxing fans that are not quite sure who Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker is. So you can use this as a guideline for you to look up the career of Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker. Now, part 2 is dedicated to Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker when he fought a young Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya was 23-0 at the time. I think Pernell Whitaker only had 1 loss on his record. I might be wrong about that, but he definitely had over 40 fights when he fought Oscar De La Hoya. And the reason why I want to highlight this fight, for a couple reasons. Number one, Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker was known for his defense. He was known for his defense. In my eyes, he is top 5, one of the most, I would say, prolific defensive fighters of all time. In my book, I would say he's definitely top 5 in my book. But if you wanted to see how he got down defensively, if you had any doubt on what he could do defensively, you cue up this fight between Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker and Oscar De La Hoya. Some of the things that he was doing was absolutely amazing. It was absolutely amazing what he was doing. And the thing with his defense, they don't allow it now, but he was allowed to get low in terms of squatting down as part of his defense. And there was moments in this fight where Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker was literally like the Matrix. Like, he was like the Matrix out there with Oscar De La Hoya. I remember it was at the end of 1 round. It might have been like the 2nd round, where Oscar De La Hoya threw like 15 straight shots and missed all of them. Like, if you go on YouTube and just queue up the highlights for this fight, that'll be the main thing that they would show, is him dipping like 15 shots. Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker's defense was on 100 in that fight. And what this fight also represented was when you are a known defensive fighter like Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker, you're going into the ring at a disadvantage because a lot of these judges don't know what they're looking at. Like, they don't really value everything in terms of the criteria that you're supposed to judge around by. This fight made me realize that Pernell Whitaker's style was the most effective style, but his style was a type of style where he didn't know if he was going to come out with a decision victory or not, depending on how the judges like to score around. And Oscar De La Hoya won this fight by unanimous decision. It was wide on the scorecards. And a lot of people at ringside and a lot of people just in the crowd thought Pernell Whitaker won the fight. Like, I literally just watched this fight and I thought Pernell Whitaker won the fight. Like, he threw more punches. He landed more punches, He landed more punches and he landed more jabs. So I don't know what the judges was looking at. They were giving Oscar De La Hoya credit for trying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they was giving him credit for attempting to throw shots and applying pressure. But it's called effective aggressiveness. And he didn't show any of that in the fight against Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker. So this was an ideal fight to look at if you want to look at the greatness of Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker, even though he lost on the scorecards. It's just you're not gonna see many guys throughout boxing history, past, present, or future, like Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker. This was a quick part 2 of the tribute to Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker. I'm gonna drop a part 3 pretty soon. But I mean, he was just special. He was special. One of my top 5 favorite fighters. If you are familiar with who he is, then you know what I'm talking about. Hurt my heart that he passed. And if you don't know who he is, just continue to look him up and watch as many fights of this man as possible, because this was greatness inside of the boxing ring. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. G5 Jeff TV, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Please share this video, support your boy. Support good content at all times. I appreciate y'all. Peace.